Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I am Tenitra, that is Jarvis, and you guys are the ones who keep this show rolling because you go everywhere and you download our podcast and then you leave us 5-star reviews and then you go subscribe on
Yeah.
YouTube and get us almost to
Yes.
4,000 subscribers across the Locked On Sports Network here in Atlanta. So we appreciate you guys for rocking with us and just staying the course and also keeping it pushing. Don't forget, leave us some comments from time to time and we will talk about them on air, especially this week. I know you guys have thoughts. I know you got commentary about the Falcons, as you should, because the Falcons finally got the first dub of the season, 27-23 over the Seahawks. And listen, we on this show, we want to give the flowers when we can, right? So, yes, we're going to
Yes,
be
indeed.
happy about what the Falcons were able to do to keep you guys from not having sports PTSD.
Yes.
And hopefully, we'll be able to see that that's something that continues as far as the progress because we've talked about it before, Jarvis. It's so interesting when you look at the Falcons, right? And you say to yourself, oh gosh, this defense looks leaky, or the offense looks shaky, or oh man, Young Wei Koo actually missed a field goal. And then you think about this yesterday was what you wanted to see. It
Mm-hmm.
was a close out like no other from the defense. Defense, come through. And they did that. We talked about Grady in the first segment and how critical it was, the plays that he made leading up to that critical sack, right? The sack
Right.
that really made all the difference. But also somebody whom we've all been waiting to wake up, Richie Grant. He did his thing too. He made sure
Yes.
that ball, he made sure it was a wrap with a one, I mean, just a timely interception. It was almost like he was telegraphing it, like I'm just going to sit here and wait and wait
Yeah.
and wait. And here's the ball. So I love it for him.
Yeah.
First interception, go
Yes.
Richie.
Yes. Yes. Good job. RG. I think that's one of the things that you know you really can appreciate because he took a lot
Mhm.
of flack. And I
Yeah.
said, when Richie Grant was drafted by the Falcons, I was like, this dude is
Mhm.
a ball player. I
Yes.
think he's going to be a ball player. And I think that, when you get off to a rough start, you play a
Mhm.
position that you really hasn't necessarily play or what you was drafted to do. And the nickel last year, he struggled,
Mhm.
but he figured it out, right? He was able to figure it out, and he was able to figure out this defense too.
Mhm.
And to see him, all those things kind of get thrown into a pot, and now you're starting to see some of the good consequences from that,
Mhm.
right? From that first
Yes.
year experience. And I think that it's just good to see him do that. And he is a guy who I've said
Mhm.
it, and I say it again. He's a guy that will take the ball away. And I thought it was funny as he talked about after the game how during talking about that particular play, when he picked it off,
Mhm.
he was getting ready to try and take it to the
Yeah,
house because
he was.
they were like, man, I'm about to go, and then
Right.
you see Hawk running right by him like, nah, man, get your butt
Right.
down, like
Right.
get down, like the
Yeah.
game is over, bro, like
It's just done.
let's get up out of
Sorry.
here, let's get this
Yeah.
dub and get out of here,
Let's
and I think
get
that
out.
was a cool thing to see too, from Hawkins' standpoint. And hey,
The
like, hey,
maturity.
now we don't want to do anything to not get this dub. But I love the fact that Richie Grant said, "Hey, man, I'm a competitor. I want to take this
Yes.
bad boy to the
Yes.
house. I want to score.
Mhm.
I love it. When this
Yes.
Falcons defense, we're talking about forcing a turnover in all three
Mhm.
games they played in this
Yep.
year. T, this
Yeah.
is something that is a great building block to
Mhm.
continue to stack good games.
Yeah, and I love the fact that the turnover ratio is that's a critical piece that sometimes
Yes,
we don't talk about a lot. Maybe sometimes we focus a little bit too much on the sacks. Except
right,
I know I always say just bring pressure because you
right,
keep bringing pressure and you're going to eventually force a turnover even if you never get the sack. And I just believe
indeed.
ev- those the Falcons defense kept almost getting home the whole game, just enough to lead up to what we saw in the waning minutes of that game. So that was just wonderful to see. And even to see Lorenzo Carter. I mean, look, that's what they brought him here to do.
Yeah.
He did what he's starting to show why they brought him here. It was just good to see that as well. Now on offense, I would say without question, you have got to applaud Cordero Patterson. I mean, 141 yards
T.
on just 17 carries. Like, I mean, he's a beast.
he was dang near
Seriously.
averaging a first down a pop, right?
Yes.
Like
And out here losing over folks
that's
21 versus
craziness.
31. What? No, what just happened?
And I'm sure that that's the number, right? Between 15 and 17 carries. I
Yeah.
know they don't want to get it to that 20 carry
Right.
situation. I know that's why you saw Tyler Algier
Yes.
still, he wasn't obviously wasn't as productive as Patterson, but
Right.
you're starting to see him kind of get figure things out and start learning his
Mhm.
way as in his rookie year as a running back in the NFL. So but Cordell Patterson was the guy. It seemed like
Mhm.
when he broke that 40-yard run off tee, I was just like, this dude is just that. When you saw the burst, you
Yes.
understand why Cordell Patterson didn't play in hardly any in the preseason. You get it. You understand the plan. I love seeing
Mhm.
coaches' vision come to fruition.
Yes.
This is what Arthur Smith envisioned for this team. Giving a rock to Cordell Patterson between 15 to 18 carries, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, and him breaking that bad boy off and to close out the game towards the end. We
Yes.
get those 2 first down runs, and you just look
Mhm.
at it like, okay, this is what Arthur Smith wants right here. And also give Kobe Gossett the credit because
Mhm.
when I found out Elijah Wilkinson later on Friday after we had done the show that he will not play, I got super concerned because Wilkinson
Mhm.
has been playing really well, and I got
Yeah.
to give some kudos to Chris Lindstrom
Mhm.
and Caleb McGarry as well because that right side was opening up some holes, T.
Yeah, yeah, it was really, really impressive to see what they were able to do because, yeah, you just didn't know. I mean, we had been giving the O line flowers, and particularly we highlighted Elijah
Of
Wilkinson
course,
last
yes.
week. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we got that news that he was a scratch, yes, there was a bit of a concern there on
Yes.
whether or not the Atlanta area native Kobe Gossett was going to be able to come in and make something happen. And hey, when you get to stand pat, and like you said, I was looking and just so pleased to see holes opening because what that spoke, and we'll talk about what that really means in a minute. But before we kind of go there, I want to talk as well about the obvious, which
Mm.
is
Yeah.
you finally let KP do KP things. And it was a beautiful thing
Yes.
to see because
Yes.
it was not that it's not about a touchdown, but the
Right.
question is how do you have a unicorn and you're not letting the unicorn do unicorn things? And
Right.
every time he had an opportunity to do unicorn things, he did it. He
Yeah.
did it. So it was great to see him get, 5 catches, 87 yards, and those 5 catches were on excuse me, 8 targets. So that's
Yeah.
the other piece I like. You don't have
Efficiency.
to give him double digit targets for him to give you that much productivity. So I hope this is the beginning of what we're going to see in how the Falcons utilize KP properly.
And you know what? I think it was more so of a. I mean, of course,
Oh, it's a
what you
market
just said,
thing.
no doubt.
Yeah.
It was definitely that, and I think that a matchup thing too. When you
Yeah.
think about Jamal Adams not being in on back end of that defense, and them having a guy in Tariq Woolen who was a mid round pick, and him as a rookie starting, and guys like Michael Jackson who you had never heard of, you're like, dang, Michael Jackson got a son playing in the NFL? No, that was just his name. He just so happened to be named Michael Jackson. So I think taking advantage of the matchups that I think Arthur that came into play as well. Not
Mhm.
necessarily. I mean, Arthur Smith has definitely revealed to us in his own way that he does listen to what's going on outside those 4 walls in
Yeah.
Flowery Branch, and I get it, and I'm sure he does get it as well. But I think that for him to be able to say, look at what they were facing up against and saying, you know what, it's a huge opportunity for me to go ahead and get my tight end, the guy that y'all took 4th overall in the 2021 NFL draft, get him involved early, and then, hey, I'm gonna let my other guys eat as well.
Mhm.
Olamide Zaccheaus, Drake London, all of those guys, getting in the end zone and making it easy for the quarterback. Easy for me because that's the key in this offense and identity of the Falcons. Make things easy for Marcus where he doesn't have to win the game for you at the end, and that's exactly what ended up happening out there at Lumen Field at Seattle.
Yeah. 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 It was a close call when they did actually put it in his hands late, but thank goodness
Lord.
there was some cover up there. But going back to what I was saying about Marcus Mariota as it relates to KP,
Mm-hmm.
when he is and when he was double covered, it was just a situation where you could tell that there was a discomfort. Like Marcus Mariota
Right.
just did not seem to be comfortable threading that needle.
Right.
And
Yeah.
last night's game, I think, was the first time where we maybe kind of sort of saw him get a little bit more comfortable. So
Yeah.
I do think as he gets just a bit more comfortable in that pocket and being able to quickly release the ball, find your guy, and
Yes.
before the double team can actually even get set, he's set because KP is going to be where he's supposed to be.
Right.
So it's really on Marcus Mariota to continue to find ways to be a little more confident like he was yesterday and just thread the needle or throw it up high and let your guy catch it, throw it on his back, just do whatever you can. So I think that's the most important thing. So when we come back, we're going to talk about some really cool things in For the Culture because, man, it's their anniversary. But I also want to tell you guys about Coffee AM. So with Coffee AM, is that one thing that can get you going. Now, today, you probably didn't need it because
Right.
the Falcons won.
Yes.
But on other days, maybe Georgia Tech fans might need it Tuesday morning because they
Yes.
might be sad. I don't know. Maybe they're happy. But for those who actually might be a little bit sad, Coffee AM can be a great perk up for you. It is locally owned and operated. It is the company that takes pride in the quality of their product to the point where they literally go all around the world to get the right coffee to roast for you. They are the best small batch roaster in this country. And literally, when you make that order, when you place your order, it's fresh, and more fresh. It's coffee that's going to be made on the spot or not far removed from the day that you ordered. And speaking of ordering, you can go to coffeeam.com/locked on, and that first order is 15% off. And who minds 15% off of anything, especially in this economy? So you can get coffee, you can get tea if you're like me, some green tea will do you good. And also, if you want to share the riches of Coffee AM, then get yourself a gift set. Again, that is coffeeam.com/locked on for your 15% off on your first order. And yes, let's talk about an anniversary and For the Culture.